Yep. By what I thought. The train. The train. How y'all doing this morning? Is it still morning? For like another 14 minutes. Man, I slept so good. How y'all doing this morning? How y'all doing this morning? So I was thinking, I know, hey, I got to set you down for a minute. I got to get my paperwork together and I got an appointment I got to make. But uh, thinking about William Creasy, right? I also have heard Jody Sue, opposite of that, um, say things like, these people don't know who my family is. I have connections. So when I get stuck on the dogs are the key, and I think of, this is all theoretical and speculative at this point. Okay? So I start to think about the dog handler. Who's the chief dog handler in Hawkins County? It's William Creasy, right? So William Creasy is a highly motivated law enforcement official, right? He's the lead constable for Hawkins County. He is lead dog trainer, narcotic dog trainer for Hawkins County. What's interesting is if you look up, and you may be able to find it in some places, but if you look up Hawkins County through their official site, they'll give you a city sort of roll call of all the people that work for the city. Does not have any constable information. Go to Sullivan County and look. It'll list all their constables. Go to Washington County. It lists all their constables. Does not list the constables or the deputy constables for Hawkins County. Now, what if? Now we always hear about Jody saying, we have heard Jody talk about Ronnie Lawson being crooked. What if William Creasy is actually a good guy as a motivated law enforcement professional who meets the standard to be a constable? He was elected in. He showed interest in the dog training, drug dog training program, and was the guy, the manager of all of that, the overseer, his lordship over being the constable and the lead dog trainer for Hawkins County. What if William Creasy is a great guy? What if he's a great guy? What if William Creasy could have been the next viable candidate to be sheriff to run against Ronnie Lawson? That's the only way you can keep a good cop down. You gotta put some bad juju on him. Hoo-ah. Gotta put some bad juju on him. Right? So it's all about the dogs. I get it, Joey. It's all about the dogs. I would love some clarification. Call me a dumbass. Or the other way you might respond to this is ignore it if it's right. But I believe, in my opinion, through about 8 hours of a conversation with a brilliant woman about trying, you all know her. I won't say her name, so that means it's not fizzled. I get back to a place where I feel like there's a strong connection between Jody Sue Brown I do. If William Creasy is not a good guy, could William Creasy be using known snitches in Hawkins County to try to get ahead? Now, what's the ultimate get ahead? You got to ask yourself, did they really jam? Did special agents from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation really just jam up William Creasy for stealing meth from traffic stops and letting offenders go? You mean he loves his dog's drug habit that bad that he will put himself in jeopardy? Hell no, my contention is this. You pull over somebody with a $20 bag of meth, how many dogs can you actually train with $20? The low-lying meth traffic is probably who he was turning into the police, right? Are you going to pick up a bigger bag? If you're going to do it at all, grams don't matter, right? Oh. I mean, Creasy has to be bringing in some people with some dope so that he can still say he's doing this work. But the big packs, in my opinion, those are the ones that he's been jammed for. So it isn't just that he's taking dope off the road and let offenders go. This is like Training Day, right? Denzel, right? Like, you want to go to jail or you want to go home? That kind of stuff, right? So, you know, within reason, use your good, clean logic. You tubians on the inner tube, the intertube. Use your good logic. Who do you think William Creasy was jamming up? He was jamming up the big ones, wasn't he? If you're going to get in trouble for taking 7 grams, why not jam the guy with 1,000? As long as the grams are never mentioned, it won't matter, will it, to the police? So when you let somebody go after you jam them up with a big pack of narcotics, William Creasy got a friend now, doesn't he? Oh, yeah. He's got a friend. He's got a friend that he's not really interested in putting in jail either. He has a friend he has an interest in keeping on the street. So, yeah, it may look like William Creasy was just stealing a little dope for his dogs. Anybody watch any of these damn movies these stupid cops get exposed to and think, oh, that's a great idea. I can do it better than the fucking guy on the movie. That's when they jam a guy with 100 grams, take 3 back for the dogs, and take the other 97 grams and go to another holler and push that on somebody you'd have jammed up before too and not turn it in. So, when you think of in terms of who would be serving paperworks for those sorts of scenarios Jody Stool loves to be a part of, it'd be a guy like William Creasy. It'd be a guy like William Creasy. It'd be a guy like William Creasy is who it would be like. So, there's 2 ways. There's actually 3 routes we can expect Jody Stool to react to this. Either tell me what a fucking dumbass I am, whether it's wrong or right. If it's right and she's in the mood, she may lie and say, oh, Benny, you're a fucking idiot, even if it's right. You know she'll do it if it's wrong. Then there's the off chance that it's right. And she won't even engage this statement that I'm making this morning at lunchtime for her specifically. This is for no one else. So, you know when bullshit coincidences are few, nil, almost void of existence. I mentioned to everyone, if the dogs are the key, why do you don't need permission from the police to go put cameras and fucking GPSs on the Wells dogs. You just do it. You do it. And if those dogs are the key and you did not do that, each time a dog was peeled off of that hill, it would have been traumatic for you. Each time a dog left that
hill. And when the last dog left, you should have seen a demoralized Jody Stool. That would have meant no dog remained from the lineage of dogs that may have known where the child was at that Jody Sue believed they could uncover. So when you deduce a connection between William Creasy and his office and Jody Stool, William Creasy's with the dogs. If there's no coincidences, none whatsoever can't be, whose dogs are she talking about? Now, I don't want to go wild and crazy on the speculation about the dogs, but she says the dogs are the key. Well, somebody with a moderately to mild intelligence on the fly could come up with some bullshit like, yeah, I've got some tracking devices and some cameras. Did you ever see the tracking devices? Did you ever see the cameras? I didn't. So how do you know they exist? She could have been talking about the police dogs. So if it's all about the dogs, Jody, what does that mean? What does that mean, Jody? Could it mean, and I don't want to go silly, could it mean that William Creasy, I don't know, did William Creasy bring drug dogs instead of search dogs? Does William Creasy have contact with the search dogs that belong to Hawkins County or just the drug dogs? Because we know that his alleged behavior with the drug dogs is fraudulent and fugazi. He now currently holds the title of constable while on probation. Oh, yes, he is convicted. But that's a stain that could never be washed off. Isn't that right? So, gotta ask yourself, which dogs, really, which dogs? Right? You can't ask Jody Sue which dogs because she hasn't behaved correctly about, I mean, if the dogs are the key, then the dogs are the savior of Summer Wells, right? Each time one of the saviors perished, we heard about the tragic story of damn near, I mean, these dogs have been ingrained in the story since day one. All of these dogs, as the dogs were peeled from the hill individually one by one, either by leaving the hill and never coming back, being found in the road, being found in the woods, unalived, out in the ASPCAs, Hawkins County. When you've seen some of the dogs in adoption, you never seen the right fucking reaction to Jody Stool seeing. What are they going to do, Jody? They're going to do a fucking legacy tour and bring all the dogs that are still alive back to the hill and then run your fucking bullshit GPS and camera tracker on them. Is that what they're going to do, Jody? Is that what they're going to do? Because you know once that group of dogs disbanded, all bets are off, right, Jody? But that's not how you acted, Jody. At all, Jody. That is not how you reacted at all, Jody. So I got to ask you, which dogs, Jody? Which dogs, Jody? Now, in closing, I want to just make mention, Jody, I want to ask you, Jody, why don't you, Jody? You're so fucking brilliant. Why don't you make a static video, an upload? You know how to do that. Why don't you show me, Jody, on the map, Jody, where the cave, Jody, exists, where the opening to the cave is, Jody, that you told me, and I have the receipts, Jody. Where is the cave on the property, Jody, that YouTubers either put something in or took something out of, Jody? Who was said YouTuber, Jody? Because at that time, there was no Cam. There was no Benny Keys. Was that Brad? Was that 423 Chase you were complaining about? Either putting something in or taking something out of a cave, either on your property or the Wells property, Jody Stool? I appreciate all of you being here this afternoon. I've got to run. I'm sorry that I neglected the discussion area this morning. I had to get that off my chest unabated. I will go back through and check the chat here in a little bit. Jody, you got some fucking explaining to do, Jody. And we've already deduced the 3 most likely avenues you will take when referring to this topic and information here, Jody. I demand answers, Jody. I demand answers, Jody. Don't make me, Jody, put all of our messages on the fucking line, Jody. Specifically, Jody, the stuff about the cave and the YouTubers fucking with the cave, Jody. Who is the YouTuber, Jody? Jody, do you know about a scenario where Brad is trying to get things? We all know Brad was trying to get shit off the Wells property. You said there was a fucking cave, Jody, and that a YouTuber was fucking around in it, Jody. That's 423 Chase, isn't it, Jody? What was he putting in there or taking out of there, Jody? With that, I ask all of you, put some pressure on the wound. Stop the bleeding. I love all of y'all individually. Remember, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. God bless.